Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into the sheer scale of the infrastructure investments driving the absolute bleeding edge of AI, and more importantly, what this massive scale means for your enterprise. If you're an executive or a strategic planner trying to navigate the current tech landscape, you are definitely in the right place. We're going to examine the raw numbers, the technological leaps that are forcing these massive budgets, and the direct trickle-down benefits to the broader B2B ecosystem. So let's get right into it.
Here is our roadmap for today. First, the CapEx explosion. Second, drivers of demand focusing on video AI. Third, the real-time audio shift. And finally, number 4, enterprise and developer value.
Starting right off with Section 1, the CapEx explosion, the foundation of AI.
The raw financial data we are dealing with here is staggering. We're talking about roughly a 6 times increase in capital expenditure over a remarkably short period of time. Just think about this. Back in 2022, Google was spending about $31 billion annually. Fast forward to current projections, that number is expected to hit $180 to $190 billion. It's a complete paradigm shift. A massive chunk of this is pouring directly into custom silicon. But a jump this enormous really begs the question, right? What exactly is forcing the need for this unbelievable amount of processing power?
Which brings us to Section 2, drivers of demand, specifically looking at video AI and the new Ask YouTube features.
The leap in computational complexity required for modern AI is mind-blowing. Historically, if you wanted to teach, say, your 3-year-old how to ride a pedal bike, you typed in a few keywords, and the system handed you linear links to entire videos, basically a simple retrieval task. But the Ask YouTube AI entirely reimagines this process. Now, you provide conversational context. You can say, hey, my kid already knows how to ride a balance bike. The AI doesn't just hand you a generic link. It synthesizes a full overview, gives you tailored tips, and best of all, it jumps right to the exact timestamp in a video that is most relevant to your specific situation. And it remembers the context. You can ask follow-up questions like, should I buy one with handbrakes or pedal brakes? And it maintains that ongoing conversation, even formatting the comparative info into a clean, scannable table for you. When you multiply that level of deep, contextual video synthesis by millions of daily users across the globe, you instantly start to see why that custom silicon budget literally had to multiply by 6. Moving on to Section 3, the real-time audio shift, focusing on voice-powered docs live.
Shifting from carefully typed text to instantly processed verbal instructions demands an unprecedented amount of server power. Think about how we used to operate. Using an AI like Gemini required a highly precise structured text prompt. You had to do a lot of the heavy lifting to get a good result. Now, a new feature called Docs Live allows for real-time verbal brain dump. By lowering the friction for the user to practically zero, you exponentially crank up the processing friction on the back end.
Let's break down exactly how complex this gets in practice. In a live, totally unsped demonstration of Docs Live, a user preparing for a career day just spoke a series of steps out loud. First, they asked the AI to pull their software engineer resume from Drive. Then, they casually asked it to grab logistics from Gmail. Next, they requested funny analogies formatted into a table. And finally, they asked to add a bolded personal story about their brother right at the very top. The user just spoke these scattered thoughts aloud, and the infrastructure seamlessly connected Drive, Gmail, and Gemini to generate, structure, and format a highly complex draft instantly. It's like having a team of assistants working at lightning speed.
Delivering this kind of real-time, multimodal integration across an entire product suite is a monumental engineering feat. Docs Live voice capabilities are rolling out this summer for Pro and Ultra subscribers, and they'll be expanding to Gmail and Google Keep soon after. We're not talking about a small beta test here. This is a massive rollout of deeply integrated real-time AI. Supporting this breakneck pace of innovation, literally executing multi-step, cross-application voice commands instantly for millions of people requires exactly the kind of massive capital expenditure we talked about at the start of this explainer.
And that leads us perfectly into Section 4, enterprise and developer value, and building a scalable foundation.
I want you to listen to this direct quote from Sundar Pichai. Supporting all of this at scale for our users, while also serving enterprises and developers around the world, requires massive investments in infrastructure. This message is absolutely profound for anyone building a business today. That $190 billion being poured into custom silicon and real-time models, it isn't just for consumer novelty. It is constructing a deeply scalable computing foundation. The heavy lifting is being done right now, meaning that enterprises and developers are ultimately going to get to leverage this exact same world-class infrastructure for their own customized applications.
The foundation is officially being laid.
processing power is scaling by a factor of 6, and the friction between human thought and digital action is literally disappearing before our eyes. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this pivotal question to consider for your own strategic roadmaps. How will your enterprise leverage a $190 billion AI infrastructure? The tools are about to be at your disposal. Now it's time to decide what you're going to build with them. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer.